divided by the expected annual growth rate. And by the way, a lot of you have written in, we have used a 1-year growth rate. I know Yahoo Finance, those other sites use 5 years, but you got to trust the growth rate to believe that number. So here you go. On a PEG ratio, the 5th most highly valued company in the S&P 500, CenturyLink at 18.1. Duke Energy, this is a trend right now, with a PEG ratio of 21. Pepco Holdings, PEG ratio of 21.6. The second highest rated PEG ratio in the S&P 500 is Healthcare REIT, HCN, 25.8. And get this, the single highest PEG ratio in the S&P 500, blowing everybody away, is SuperValue, SVU. Yes, on a 1-year expected growth ratio, on the current valuation, it's got a PEG ratio of 82. Let us bring in Mad Money's own Jim Cramer. We're also, of course, joined by Herb as well. All right. Before we get, I don't know if you want to get names, whatever you want to do, but we looked at it on a 1-year basis. Right. Some people wrote in that we're idiots. You got to look out 5 years. Do we care about a 1-year PEG ratio?
Absolutely. I write the show with my nephew, okay, with Cliff Mason. And we sit there, and he just says every time, Jim, have you looked at the PEG ratio? Are you like crazy? This thing is north of 2. You know our rules. You know our rules. North of 2, and we better have a darn good explanation for this. And it's a nice tug of war that we do, that we have done ever since we started writing together, which is literally 7 years ago. Without PEG ratio justification, you know what? You're winging it. I think it's a great way to start the debate.
But how far do you want to look? Yes, these numbers are dramatic. I mean, 82 for SuperValue. I thought, how can that be? Herb and I both confirmed it because it's got no growth, and it's got a.
It shows up on every single one of our lists for.
You are close to what we call those screens.
Let me just say, for the utilities, yes, for the utilities, I always have to work, okay, because then it's going to work. Because there's a lot of one-time, there's a lot of difficult things to understand with utilities. Duke is actually an inexpensive stock. SuperValue, one of the worst-performing stocks in the S&P 500 last year. Here it is again, not doing that great. Here's why we worry. See, it has a good yield, so it's attractive. Okay, so we think it's attractive. Fortunately, I've been able to interview the CEO twice on Squawk on the Street. I feel okay that the turn could be occurring. But you know what? It's the first thing I thought about. Now, I don't recommend it because of the PEG rate. It's just too expensive.
And the reason we did this search is because I know Peter Lynch liked to use PEG ratios as a jumping off point. And to Herb's disclaimer, these are just jumping off points, right? This is just something you would put in a screen.
But we always have to justify it. You've got one CenturyLink. We pulled our recommendation on CenturyLink because of the PEG ratio. We pulled it. It got too expensive for us to talk about.
All right, wait a second. If you pulled it because it was too expensive.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare go to Salesforce.com. Don't you dare go to Salesforce. I actually am talking about Salesforce.com because this is my game plan tonight. And I am saying, look, in this environment, these stocks aren't working. So be aware that we're talking about Mark Benioff. That Mark Benioff, who likes to follow her on Twitter, you beat me by 1 minute today. I had a 4:34 entry in Twitter at 4:33 a.m. But one of the things that I'm saying, what I'm saying is that these are not the right stocks for this environment. Not just because of Green Mountain Coffee, but because you're not getting credit. People don't want to take that level of risk right now. So Salesforce may actually do the number a little bit better than what people would want, but it may not go up. Because that's been the pattern.
Well, what's interesting about the 10 names, and actually you mentioned Green Mountain, one of the reasons we thought about doing this screen was because of the disasters of Netflix and Vertex and these high valuation companies, whatever.
Absolutely.
Salesforce out of the 10 is very different, right? Salesforce is the only of those 10 that has a very rapid growth rate. The rest are the utilities, slow or even no.
You get down to a company like a Pfizer, which is number 10 here, which is an 8.8.
Again, on a 1-year basis.
On a 1-year basis. And I know people who say that is one you got, that group. Now, I don't know what your opinion is of that group.
Well, I thought that Merck, first time raising dividend in 7 years, 11% increase. Maybe they're signaling that there's finally going to be some earnings growth. The drug stocks have been value traps for a long time.
Right.
So they don't hit my screen of things other than Bristol and Abbott. They don't have the growth that I really like.
And when you look at it like this, Jim, they don't look like value.
No,
right? Merck and Pfizer both on the list. You said they're value traps. That does not say value to me. 11.2.
You're right.
1-year PEG ratio.
They're bonds. But you always think, well, wait a second. Could there be some drug in the future? In Pfizer's case, the drugs are going away in the future, so it really is a value trap. But they, too, are committed to saying, they've been saying a lot of more positive things. Remember, these are pipeline stocks. If you have something in the pipeline like Bristol Myers has, then I am inclined to reopen the book and say maybe go longer-term PEG rate, because maybe there's accelerating earnings growth. Very rare, but there could be. In the case of International Paper, there is.
You like international.
Oh, geez,
I know you
John
love
Fauci. He's been, yes, I do. But can I just say, we had John Fauci on a couple times. The IP strategy that he is working, which is, buy company and become global, is really, it's been a big winner for us. When we think it's at 4% yield, we like to buy it.
And a winner in the consolidation race in that group.
Yes.
And quickly on Kimco, you got an opinion there? Because I'll tell you what, Kimco got crushed by Kmart when a lot of those shut down. I see a lot of I live in New Jersey like you. Yes. I see a lot of Kimco vacancy.
Yes,
things.
I do. That's why I go with Federal.
You
F14.
love Don Wood.
I think Don
Realty
he's
Trust.
money. He's money. Right?
You
and I like Tanger. I like Steve Tanger when you want to go
They've been hot. Tanger.
Oh, what a quarter. Man, people are begging to be able to take the spots left by some of these retailers like Liz Claiborne, which is moving out. They had close names that were in Tangers. And as soon as they did, there were like a half dozen companies that wanted to get right in.
All right, Jim.
This is the right focus.
It's a starting point. I got a piece coming up on CNBC.com if the viewers missed it. All right, but here's
you
the
have
thing.
a new website?
Well, yeah. Well, we have to put it up on street signs on CNBC.com. This is going to be on the main site, I hope. We're trying. All right. No Greek monks. All right. Be sure to catch more of Jim tonight on a very special Mad Money edition. Invest in America, a salute to the troops. Jim's going to have a live studio audience of current and former U.S. service members.